there's something Donald was saying about he really did see does not think that really the president is like, a bad person per se. You get make sense. Okay, I don't agree with it. I have it.
Okay.
It's okay. Again, we don't have to agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but to some extent, ili imeanza kuniwekea sense. In as much as you agree. So I'm gonna start this by just I can lay out to then I can feel then keep quiet to be the conversation starts.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
nimekuwa nikitaka ku make sense out of, I don't want to just be like a critique,
Yeah.
president, like
Yeah.
like from criticize or something.
Yeah.
I also wanted to just do like a back analysis of what really was the problem or where did the problem start from, know, because at the end of the day, you're still, nikienda pia mi kuvote, wacha tu nije nikiapa hivyo ndani. I really asked God, or I was constantly asking God who will actually vote for and all that. Na yeye mwenyewe aliniambia tu Ruto. You know what I mean? So I know he's a man who was selected by God. He was God's choice. So here's the thing. Got to have an opportunity to sit down with the Buddhist. I think I talked to Donell about this. And so I was just sitting down, just listening to them, just listening to their story. And I wanted to just get to hear about, what's the vibe about this. Just wanted to just get to hear how it started. So she went on ahead and really did a bit of a thorough analysis of what Buddhism is.
She was Indian?
No, she was not Indian. She was like half caste African Indian or something. So akaniambia, nikamuuliza, so what's the vibe about whole Buddhism and all that? So akaniambia, do you know how Buddhism started? I was like, okay, yeah, I would want to get to know from the get-go how Buddhism started. So she was like, how Buddhism started, it was a man who, so Buddha was a son of a king. So it was a man. So Buddha was a son of a king. So the king had plans for the son to go on ahead and take over the throne. But the son was like, I just don't want it to be that way. I feel there's a higher calling, or there is a higher purpose, or there's a path for me that I need to actually go on ahead and execute. Do you get that make sense? So he was constantly seeking God's direction. So you get that make sense? He was constantly seeking God's direction on, this path, because it's always, it's something that David actually talked about. He was actually handing over the kingdom to Solomon. He was constantly using something, life map.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys out there will come across that. He was constantly telling Solomon, just don't forget to follow the life map. So Buddha was constantly in seeking of this life map. So from the get-go, it started on when. But my question to her was, when did it now come to the point where it now got corrupted? Then she said a very interesting statement. She was like, here's what I can tell you from on how it got corrupted. It reached a place whereby this man was so enlightened to quite a lot of things that he went on ahead and felt, now I can now corrupt this thing to control people. Do you think that makes sense? From the get-go, it was a good cause. It was a true cause. The man was following the life map. Do you think that makes sense? He was constantly in seeking God. But along the way, it now got corrupted to a place whereby I can feel like, now I'm enlightened to this particular way. Now I can go on ahead and, make my own religion. Speaking that makes sense. That's how Buddhism came out. So it was an interesting conversation. And I think at that particular moment, that's the time that now this statement that Donell actually went on ahead and told them about, what is it called? The president and all that. Yes, he's still a child of God. No doubt about that.
Yeah.
However, the flaws, weaknesses, and all that, but it reached a place whereby something got corrupted. Sijui kina make sense. Something got corrupted because I feel there's quite a bit of tension with people and the church. Sijui kina make sense. They are constantly like, sinenyi mlikuwa mnasema this is a man. Sijui kina make sense. And I feel there's been quite a sort of misunderstanding whereby it's like, yes, it was still the man. It was a man that God chose. But in the long run, you can't control free will. You know, you can't force someone to make a decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To make a decision according to the way, God wants. Even you and me, it comes to the finer things of you and me.
Yeah.
Sometimes God might be asking you to do this, and then you just end up doing your own things.
Yeah.
So I feel like that needed to be straightened out. Sijui kina make sense, like from that angle. So, nimeongea sana, but namalizia hapa. As a result of that, I went on ahead and I was constantly thinking about the whole statement on, we are always set up from the get-go. We're always set up for failure from the get-go. And I went on ahead and I was like, okay, let me go on ahead and research, really do like a sort of deep dive on this statement. What does this actually mean? Is it true or is it not? Because at the end of the day, I just don't want to come here, just speak of things that are actually not factual. Yeah. So it now started to narrow down on me that, truth be told, we have been set up for failure from the get-go. How? Policies. How? I went on ahead and I researched more about the SHA project. Do you know, for any government project first to be passed through? Because I was like, okay, so you're saying that, this SHA project, it's meant to help the people, right? Yeah. That's what it's written on things in plain sight. That it's meant to help the people. Okay. My question then began. I started begging the question of, was there civic education? There's no civic education. So how well it's gonna make sense if if it is meant, if I've decided I'm coming up with a project to help Donnell, to help Lucy, to help Mavo, I need to come to the realization of Mavo is this ethnic group, part of this ethnic group, that part of this ethnic group. The normal logic thing for me to go on ahead and roll out a project, it will be go to the ground, be able to reach to this ethnic group, and by this, I'm talking about the people in the rural areas. They don't know English. So that makes sense.
Right.
So I'll ensure the first thing that I'll actually need to go ahead and do is first do civic education. To educate Mavo in the language anaelewa, educate Lucy in the language anaelewa, educate Dorel in the language anaelewa. Then as a result of that, once Mavo approves, once Mavo says that this project is meant to help me out, then it should be public participation. The law needs to be taken out to parliament. Then it needs to be rolled out. But what really happened? It was just rolled out illegally. So what is the problem here? Again, takes me back to what? To policy. Let me go on ahead and do a little bit of a trace back to what is it called? Back in the days of what is it called? Back in the days of Nehemiah. I don't think that is relevant as of now. But the point is policy. There's a problem from the get-go. We can't be claiming that we want to go on ahead and move ahead towards Vision 2030 while we having policies that are so flawed to the point whereby projects are being passed left, right, and center without the public participation.